Welcome to our general mathematics subject. And for today's video lesson, I will teach you about piecewise functions. So specifically in how to evaluate the piecewise function and how to graph piecewise functions. Okay, so itong lesson na to class is still a part of our discussion in functions. So hiniwalay ko lang siya kasi masyado na mahaba yung discussion natin dun sa first video. Okay, so what is a piecewise function? It is a function that combines pieces of different equations. So a combination of two or more functions. So each piece is for a different domain or set of x values. So for example, in this one, we have here two functions. And then we also have two restriction for domain. So yung real number line system natin for domain is hinati siya into two. So pansinin niyo class tong symbol na to. So una is less than 0. So ibig sabihin, tingnan natin dito sa graph natin. Galing sa 0 to the negative infinity. So pakaliwa. So, whenever daw ito yung input natin or yung domain natin class is ito yung magiging output natin or yung function natin. Okay? So, kaya ito yung graph natin. And then, for the second one na interval natin sa domain, so from 0 pa kanan. So, x is greater than 0. So, pakanan naman siya. 0 to positive infinity. Okay? So, ito naman daw yung magiging output natin. Si 3x minus 3. Okay? So, why is it important to study about piecewise functions? So, in real life, lots of problems are modeled by piecewise functions, such as finding shipping costs. So, pansinin niyo class, 'di ba, uso ngayon yung Lalamove or yung Grab delivery. So, sa bawat layo niya, gaano kalayo, iba-iba yung babayaran natin. So, also in income taxes. So, this is based on how much a person is earning. Dito naman. Then, ordering of t-shirts. Ito naman, based naman kung ito, pwede nating kunin na example is yung sa bulk ordering. Or kapag yung maramihan yung binibili. Habang lumalaki yung binibili natin, habang lumalaki yung binibili natin is lumiliit yung prices natin. So, merong certain interval ng kung magkano yung binili mo and then makikita natin doon merong kung magkano yung babayaran mo. Okay? So, next. So, evaluating piecewise function. So, last time, hindi natin to na-include dun sa evaluating natin ng function. So, this time, evaluate natin siya. So, evaluating piecewise function is just like evaluating functions that you are already familiar with. So, for example, let's calculate f of 2. So, we have this. So, pag dalawa na class, yung nakita natin dito na function, so, ibig sabihin, yung real number line system natin is hinati siya into 2. Okay? So, this time, yung pagkakahati niya is, una, x less than 0. So, simula kay 0, pakaliwa to the negative infinity. Tapos, yung pangalawa niyang interval is x greater than or equal to 0. So, simula si 0, close interval to the positive infinity. So, ito naman yung magiging output natin, si x minus 1. Okay, so you're being asked to find y when x equals 2. Since 2 is greater than or equal to 0, you will only substitute into the second part of the function. So, if we are evaluating for x equals 2, ayan. So, identify natin kung saang domain nakapaloob si 2. So, since greater than or equal 0 tayo dito sa second function natin, so ito yung pipiliin natin, class. Okay? So, evaluate lang natin. Pag na-identify na natin, class, kung saang function magpo-poll siya, yung ini-evaluate natin, so pwede lang nating i-substitute. Okay? So, substitute natin yung 2 dito sa pangalawa kasi dito nakapaloob yung 2. So, 2 minus 1 equals, ano sagot? Ayan. So, 2 minus 1, that is equal to 1. Okay? So, next. Let's calculate f of negative 2 naman. So, first step, tandaan, hanapin muna natin kung saang function magpo-poll yung negative 2 natin. So, pipili tayo sa interval ng domain natin. So, si negative 2 class, less than 0 siya. So, nandun siya sa kaliwa ni 0. So, ito ang pipiliin natin na function natin, na pagsasubstitute natin. Okay? So, x squared plus 1. Ayan. So, you're being asked to find y when x equals negative 2. Since negative 2 is less than 0, you will only substitute into the first part of the function. Okay. So, the first part of the function is, ayan, so si x squared plus 1. So, substitute lang natin si negative 2 to the function. So, negative 2 quantity squared plus 1. So, simplifying, the answer is 5. Okay? So, try nyo nga to, class. The domain tells you which equation to use. So, first, if x is less than 2, the function is x plus 2. And if x is greater than or equal to 2, the function is 2x plus 1. So, evaluate f of x when x equals 0, x equals 2, and c, x equals 4. Okay, in 10 seconds. You can pause the video and answer it in a sheet of paper so that you can practice evaluating piecewise functions. So the answer is, so for x equals 0, so tingnan natin dito sa domain natin. So included siya in the first interval of the domain. So we will choose this function. So 0 plus 2, the answer is 2. Okay? For letter B naman, so x equals 2. So, 2 saan siya? So, nandito. Dito, ibig sabihin, close yung interval natin. Included yung endpoint natin na 2. So, 2 times 2, substitute it to this function. 2 times 2 plus 1. So, that's equal to 5. Okay? For letter C, x equals 4. So, C4 is greater than or equal to 2. So, dito siya sa second interval natin. So, we'll use this function. So, that is 2 times 4, okay, plus 1, and that is equal to 9. Okay? So, how about this one, class? Try it. Try natin ulit. So, when x equals 0, x equals 3, x equals 6, so evaluate using this function. Okay? You can pause the video and answer it in a sheet of paper. Okay, so the answer is, so for the first one, x equals 0. So, saan magpo-fall yung interval natin? So, in the first one or in the second one? So, since 0 is less than or equal to 3, so we will use this function for letter A. So, 3 times 0, substituting, plus 2, and then simplify. Okay, so the answer is 2. Okay? Next, for x equals 3. So, 3. So, dito naman. Close yung interval natin dito. So, kasama yung endpoint natin na 3. So, we will use this function. So, 3 times 3, substituting 3 plus 2. Okay, then simplify. 3 times 3, that's 9. Plus 2. Okay, so that is equal to 11. Okay, for number 3, or for the third one, so x equals 6. So, greater than 3. So, dito tayo sa second function natin, which is x minus 1. Ayan. So, substituting 6 minus 1, that's equal to 5. Okay? So, let's move on to graphing piecewise functions. Ayan. But let's recall yung common function natin. Ito class, lagi ko siyang inuulit kasi gusto ko makabisado niyo yung mga equation, pati yung mga itsura ng graph niya. Okay, so we have the line, the square function or the quadratic function, the absolute value function, the reciprocal function, the cube function, the square root function, ayan, and the ceiling functions natin. Class, bago tayo maging magaling class sa pag-graph ng piecewise function is kailangan magaling muna tayo mag-graph ng mga other function, yung mas madali na function. Okay. So, unahin natin to class. So, anong klaseng graph natin to? So, this is a linear function. So, paano natin siya i-graph? Kasi, bago tayo mag-graph ng piecewise, so mas combination ng iba't ibang function, so dapat marunong muna tayo mag-graph ng mas simple. Okay? So, maglagay tayo ng coordinate plane natin. So, ayan. Okay. So, kapag nag-graph tayo, class, gagamit tayo ng table of values natin. So, si x, usually, class, magsimula tayo, ayan, sa 0, tapos si negative 1, negative 2, tapos 1, tapos 2. Ayan. So, sa pinakauna, evaluate natin si negative 2. So, if x is negative 2, so 2 times negative 2 plus 1. So, negative 4 plus 1, that's negative 3. Okay? Then, next, si negative 1. 2 times negative 1. Okay? That's negative 2 plus 1. So, negative 1. Then, 0. Okay, that's 1. Then, 2 times 1. That's 2 plus 1. Okay, that's 3. And then 2 times 2, that's 4 plus 1, that's 5. Okay? So, in-evaluate muna natin isa-isa. And then, gagraph natin yung mga points, class. So, negative 2. Ayan. So, dito yung negative 2 natin. Tapos, negative 3. Ayan. So, ito siya. And then, negative 1. Tapos, negative 1. So, dito siya. Okay? And then 0, 1. So, 0, tapos 1. Okay? Tapos 1, at saka 3. Tapos 2, tapos 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then, connect lang natin, class. Ayan. So, yan yung graph natin sa pinakauna. Okay? So, next, ito naman. Mag-graph naman tayo ng quadratic. Okay. So, again, we will create a table of values for our points. So, 0. So, pwedeng negative 1, then negative 4. Ayan, pwedeng 1, tapos 4. So, dito class, you can choose any arbitrary values kung ano yung gusto mo na value. Okay? So, we know that our graph is a parabola. Kasi second degree siya, class. And openings upward siya because positive yung coefficient niya dito. Okay? So, let's evaluate. So, sa una, class, for 0, dito mo tayo magsimula. So, 0, ayan, minus 2 times 0, so 0 pa rin, plus 2. So, the answer is 2. Okay? For negative 1 naman, negative 1 square, so that's 1, minus 2 times negative 1, so that's positive 2, plus 2. Okay? So, the answer is 5. Okay? So, next, for negative 4, so negative 4, so that's 16, minus, so negative 4 times negative 2, so that's 8, plus 2. So, 26. Okay, for 1, ayan, so dito sa taas. Kung 1 naman, so erase muna natin yung iba. Okay, kung 1, 1 minus 2 times 1, so minus 2 plus 2. Okay, so the answer is 1. And then, for 4, so 4 squared, that's 16, minus negative 2 times 4, so that's negative 8. And then, plus 2. Okay, so that's 18. Okay, minus 8, so that's 10. Okay? So, ngayon, pwede na natin siyang i-graph. So, dito, class, Pwede rin isang technique is kunin natin yung vertex niya. Okay, so mamaya papakita ko sa inyo. Plot muna natin tong points. So, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, -4. Tapos, 26. So, medyo malayo siya. So, hindi natin i-graph tong point na to kasi masyadong malayo sa taas. So, ito na lang, -1. So, -1 tsaka 5. Ayan. So, -1 tsaka 5. So, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ayan. So, dito yan. Okay. Tapos, yung 0 at saka 2. So, 0, 2. Tapos, yung 1, 1. Okay. Tapos, yung 4, 10. Okay. So, nandun din sa taas. So, kuha pa tayo ng ibang value para makuha pa natin yung points na kayang natin i-locate dito sa ating Cartesian plane. So, kunin natin si 2, tsaka si 3. So, pag 2, 2 squared, so 4, minus 2 times 2, so 4 din, so 2 na lang. Okay? Pag 3, so 3 squared, so 9, minus 2 times 3, so that's 6, plus 2. So, 9 minus 3, 6 plus 2, that's 5. Ayan. So, pwede natin itong i-graph. So, 2 and 2, and then 3, tapos 5. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ayan. So, nakita na natin yung parabola natin. So, it's opening upward. Pag parabola class, pwede nyo ring gawing technique is yung finding yung vertex niya para madali kayong makapag-graph. Or pwede rin namang ganito. Okay, so ganyan lang. Ngayon naman class, mag-graph na tayo ng piecewise function natin. So, what is the first step? So, first step is to determine the shapes of the graph. So, balikan natin yung common function natin. So, pag naka-second degree class, so tingnan natin to. Pag naka-second degree, so that is a parabola. Yun yung lagi nyong tatandaan. Kapag naka-first degree, ayan, so that is a line. So, tatandaan nyo lagi yon. So, in this function, in this piecewise function, we have two graphs. So, the parabola and the line. Okay? Next step is to determine the boundaries of each graph. So, yung interval ng domain natin. So, paano yung pagkakahati? First one is x less than 0. So, from 0, pakaliwa. Ayan. And then, yung second naman for this function is x is greater than or equal to 0. So, from 0 to positive infinity. So, dito, class, tatandaan natin, dito naka-include or naka-close yung 0 natin. So, ibig sabihin, dito siya kasama sa second na graph. Okay? So, may difference din yan sa graph. Mamaya makikita natin. Kapag walang ganito, walang line dito, at saka mayroong line dito. Okay? So, next step, graph the parabola where x is less than 0. Ayan. So, x is less than 0, at ito yung gagamitin natin na function, si x squared plus 1. Okay? So, pag rinap natin, class, para mag-graph nyo to, you're going to choose arbitrary points. So, yung mga points, pwedeng from 0 to -1 to 2, tapos 1, 2. Gagawa tayo ng table of values. So, mamaya papakita ko sa inyo yon. For now, ito muna. Okay? So, Pag na-determine na natin, nakita na natin yung graph natin, na-draw na natin yung graph natin ng parabola. So, tatanggalin natin yung excess na part, wherein yung hindi kasama sa domain natin, yung greater than or equal to 0. So, pansinin nyo class ha, dito open hole siya. Kasi hindi kasama dito yung 0 na domain natin. Okay? So, next step, graph the line where x greater than or equal to 0. Okay? So, dito na tayo sa pangalawa natin kay x minus 1. So, ganun din. Gawa tayo ng table of values para ma-identify natin itong mga points na magbibilong sa line. And then, pag nag-graph na natin yung line, ayan. So, tanggalin natin yung excess part na domain which is x less than 0. Ayan. Tapos, since dito included yung 0 natin sa interval na to, dito tayo magkakaroon ng shaded hole. Okay? So, dito open hole, dito ay shaded hole. Then, continuous na yung graph natin to positive infinity. Okay? So, that's the graph natin dito sa first example natin. Okay? So, let's have another one. Okay, so we have three functions here. So, what's the first step? Determine the shape of the graphs. So, we have three graphs here. We have line. Ayan, line din. And then, parabola. Okay, next, determine the boundaries of each graph. Ayan, so hinati yung number line natin dito, yung domain natin, into 3. Wherein, the first part, this one, is x is less than negative 2. And then for this one, so x is greater than or equal to, x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Or x is less than or equal to 1. So, or from negative 1 to 2. So, including dito kay negative 2. Tapos, x is greater than or equal to 1. So, from 1 to positive infinity. And then next, graph na natin yung first function natin. Okay? Ayan. So, ulit. So, pag draw kayo dito class na mga points, so gawa ka ulit ng table of values. So, to draw the graph. Then, after drawing the graph, remove yung excess. Yung hindi kasama sa domain for the first function. So, yun. So, open interval tayo dito, class, kasi hindi kasama si negative 2 dito. Saan kasama si negative 2? Dito sa pangalawa. Okay? Next, draw natin si negative x. So, gawa ulit kayo ng table of values and then determine the line. Tapos, tanggalin yung excess. So, dito, class, kasama si negative 2. So, dito tayo shaded. Shaded hole. Okay? Tapos dito, since hindi kasama si 1 dito, open hole lang siya dito. Okay? Next. Ayan. So, this is a parabola. So, graph uli natin yung parabola natin by creating table of values. And then, pag nag-graph na, remove the excess. Okay. So, dito, yung 1 na, di ba, greater than or equal to 1. Ayan. So, dito, magkakaroon ng shade yung 1 natin. Dun sa third graph natin. Okay? So, dito, si negative x, naka-open hole siya. Pero, dito belong sa x squared minus 2 yung 1 natin. Kaya, naka-shaded hole tayo dito. Okay? So, yan yung itsura ng graph natin. Step is identify what kind of graph. So, una, this one is a line. This one is also a line. And this one is a parabola. Okay? And then, determine natin yung boundaries natin. So, boundaries natin is x is less than -2. So, 1, 2. So, draw tayo ng line dito. Okay, and then, -2 to +1. Okay, and then dito is 1 to +infinity. Okay, take note natin yan ha, yung mga inclusion ng endpoint natin. Mamaya sa graph natin. Okay, then next, pwede na natin i-graph yung pinakauna class. Ayan. So, yung pinakauna natin is 3x minus 2. So, gawa tayo ng table of values. So, 3x minus 2. Ayan. So, piliin ko muna si 0. So, kung 0, the answer is 2. 3 times 0, so plus 2. And then, kung 1, kung 1, tsaka -1. So, kung 1, 3 times 1 plus 2, that's 5. Kung -1 naman, 3 times -1, so -3 plus 2, that's -1. Ayan. So, dito, makikita natin kung pwede na tayong makapag-trace ng line. So, try natin. -1, tapos -1. So, ito. And then, 0, 2. Ayan. And then, 1, 5. 1, 3, 4. Ayan. 5. So, dito. Ayan. Pwede na tayong mag-trace ng line. So, class. Ayan. So, since dito siya class, sa x is less than -2, ito yan class, hindi kasama yung -2 sa interval natin. So, mapapansin natin class, ito yung magiging line natin. Pag ganun, pataas, no? Pero i-erase din natin to, so hindi ko na i-continue, hanggang dito na lang tayo. Ayan. So, yan yung pinakauna na part. And then, erase natin yung hindi kasama. Ayan. Okay? Ayan. So, ito yung pinakauna natin na graph. And then, yung between -2 to 1. Ayan. So, let's create table of values. -x. So, pag -x, kung ano yung input natin, nagiging opposite sign lang siya. So, kung 0, 0. Kung -1, +1. Kasi, -1 times -1, so magiging +1. Kung -2, 2. Kung 1, -2. Kung 2, rather, Kung 1, negative 1. Kung 2 is negative 2. So, plot natin. 0, 0, negative 1, 1. Ayan. Tapos, negative 2, 2. Tapos, 1, negative 1. Ayan. And, ayan. So, dito hindi naman kasama. Wag na natin isama yung point dito. So, ito na yung graph natin, class. Ayan. So, determine na lang natin. Dito, kasama. Determine natin yung mga endpoints. So, dito kasama, class, si negative 2. Sa pangalawa. Tapos, dito, hindi kasama. Tatlo, dito sa parabola natin. Ayan. So, dito, class, makikita natin, may shifting sa parabola natin. So, kapag ganito, class, yung shifting, it's either move up siya or nag-move down siya. Okay? So, na natin, 0. Kung 0, negative 2. Okay? Kung negative 1, negative 1 square minus 2, so negative 1. Tapos, kung negative 2, 2, 4, so 2. Tapos, kung 1, negative 1. Kung 2, 2. Okay? So, graph natin siya. Kung 0, negative 2. Ayan. And then, kung 1, negative 1. So, dito. Tapos, kung 2, positive 2. Okay, so that is a parabola opens upward. So, ganito yung itsura niya, class. Okay, so tanggalin natin yung excess dito sa part na to. Okay, so dito sa part na to, class, yung endpoint natin, determine natin kung kasama ba siya or hindi. So, dito, greater than or equal to 1. So, dito, kasama siya. Kasama siya dito, class. Okay, so, ayan siya. So, greater than or equal to 1 dito to positive infinity. Okay? So, naintindihan ba, class, yung pag-graph? Okay, so try pa natin to, class, para lalo nyong maintindihan. So, ano daw yung first step? Determine the shape of the graph. So, yung pinakauna is, so dito, class, sa example natin, 2. So, kapag 2, class, that is a constant function. So, that is a line. Okay? So, dito naman, y equals x. Dito sa pangalawa. So, dito is still a line. Okay? Next step, class, step 2, determine the boundaries. So, boundaries ng domain natin. So, ayan. So, drino ko na siya dito. Ito yung boundaries ng domain natin. So, sa 1, pakaliwa. So, kasama si 1 dito. And then, greater than 1. So, from 1 to the positive infinity. Okay, so, Next step is, graph na natin yung line natin. So, yung pinakauna class is, ito. If x is less than or equal to 1, 2 daw. Pag constant function class, it is a horizontal line lang. So, kahit anong i-input natin, ang magiging graph niya is align. Dito sa 2. Okay. So, yan yung itsura ng graph natin. So, ibig sabihin class, pag nag-input tayo ng 0, 2 ang output dito. Pag constant function. Pag nag-input tayo ng 1, 2 pa rin ang output. Hindi nagbabago class. Pag constant function. Pag nag-input tayo dito ng 2, 2 pa rin yung sagot. Pag 3, nag-input tayo, so 2 pa rin yung sagot. Kaya straight line. Okay? So, next step, buburain natin yung excess dun sa domain natin. So, since x is less than or equal to 2 siya, tanggalin natin. Okay? And then, so, determine na, yung endpoint natin dito, ayan. Yung endpoint ba is shaded hole or open hole lang siya? So, since dito class, pansinin nyo, kasama dito yung 1. Okay? So, dito, dapat, sa endpoint natin na 1, dito is shaded hole yan. Okay? So, yun yung lagi yung tatandaan kapag may equal sign dito. And then, punta na tayo dun sa pangalawa. So, dito kay x. So, kay x, gawa tayo ng table of values. Ayan, 0, negative 1, negative 2, 1, and 2. So, kung negative 2, substitute natin. So, negative 2. Kasi, kung ano pag y equals x class, kung ano yung input natin, yun din yung output natin. Kung negative 2 yung input natin, negative 2 din yung output. Kung negative 1, negative 1 din. Kung 0, 0. Kung 1, 1. Kung 2, 2. Okay, so graph natin yon. So, kung 0, ibahin natin yung kulay para kitang-kita natin. So, gawin natin color green. Ayan. Kung 0, 0 class. Kung negative 1, negative 1. Kung negative 2, ayan. So, negative 2 rin. Ayan. And then, dito, kung 1, 1. Kung 2, 2. Okay. And then, trace na natin yung line natin. Okay, then re-remove natin yung excess class. So, dapat greater than 1. So, simula dito class. Ayan. So, re-remove natin. Ayan. Okay, balik tayo. So, green. Ayan. So, dito class, dito sa 1, 1, hindi kasama si 1. So, open hole lang tayo dito. Okay? So, ganyan yung itsura ng graph natin dito sa problem na to. Okay, let's have another one. Ayan. This one. So, we have 3 functions here. So, what's the first step? Determine what kind of graph na yung ano natin. So, anong klase ng graph ba si x squared? So, kanina, sabi natin, pag second degree, that is a parabola. Okay? And then, 6 is a constant function. So, that is a line. And then, this one, first degree si x. So, that is also a line. Okay? So, next step is determine natin yung boundary. Ayan. So, simula tayo dito sa 2, positive. So, 1, 2. Ayan. So, sa 2, pakaliwa. Tapos, saktong 2. Tapos, greater than 2. To. So, ito yung 2 natin plus. And then, less than or equal to 6. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, ito yung 6 natin. Ayan. So, meaning to say, yung graph natin is hindi siya lalampas sa 6. Okay? Next is, graph na natin yung first one. Okay, let's graph it. So, gawa tayo ng table of values. So, for the first one, x squared. So, x, y. So, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, negative 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so si x squared. So, 0, 0, evaluate natin. If x is 0, so 0. Ayan. Nalagay ko na kanina. And then, negative 1. So, negative 1 times negative 1. So, naka-square siya. So, that's positive 1. Then, negative 2 square. So, negative 2 times negative 2. That's 4. And then here, that's 1 square. So, 1. Then, 2 square. That's 4. So, ito ay for our parabola. Okay? So, graph natin. Plot natin yung mga points natin. So, 0, 0. 1, 1. And then 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then here is negative 1. So positive 1. And then negative 2. Positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then trace natin yung graph natin. Press. Okay? So, dito, ikat ko na siya, no? Pero dito, hindi dapat kasama yung 2. So, dapat naka-open hole lang tayo dun. So, erase natin. Ayan. Okay, so dito sa 2, 4, open hole lang ako dito. Okay, so that's the first part. And then, next natin is 4x equals 2. So, 6 daw. So, kay 2, the output is 6. So, 1, 2. Ayan. So, dito, ayan. So, yan. This one is just a point. Kasi isa lang yung value ng x na kasama dito. Okay, which is the point 2, 6. So, ito yun. Okay? Then, next, so dito tayo sa 10 minus x. So, gawa tayo ng table of values. Okay? So, pwede nating lagay dito is 0, negative 1, negative 2. 1, 2. So, pwede tayong pumili dito class kahit ano. Basta matitrace natin yung line natin. Okay? So, evaluate natin. 10 minus negative 2. Okay? So, ang sagot is 10 minus negative 2. When we substitute negative 2, that becomes 12. Okay, then next is negative 1. So, 10 minus negative 1. So, that's 11. And then, pag 0, so 10. Pag 1, so 9. Pag 2, so that's 8. So, ayan. So, kasya ba ang ating mga values? So, 2, 8. Malayo. Okay, so pili pa tayo ng ibang, pag class na pili nyo is masyadong malayo, pwede kayong pumili ulit ng mga values. Okay, kung saan magiging mapag-evaluate tayo ng mas malalagay natin dito, matitrace natin siya. So, piliin natin si 2, 8, so nandito siya sa taas. Ayan, so piliin ko si 5. So, pag 5 minus 5, so 5. Tapos, piliin ko si 4. Or si 8. Pag 8, at saka 6. 6 na lang. Kung 6, 4. Ayan. So, pwede na yan. Kapag 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ayan. Tapos, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Tapos, pag 6. Pag 6, 4. Ayan. Okay. So, pag ganun yung itsura niyan. Kapag 2 class is masyado na mataas dito banda sa taas. So, pag ganun, pwede natin siyang i-assume na lang, i-trace. Okay. Ayan. So, magiging ganyan yung itsura ng graph niya. And then, tanggalin natin yung excess. So, ang excess lang niya, dapat hanggang dito lang siya sa 6. So, erase natin yung excess. Ayan. So, dito, sa endpoint natin, kasama ba o hindi si 6? So, dito kasama, ha, class. So, dito, shaded. Shaded tayo dito. Tapos, dito, sa 2, hindi kasama. So, open hole tayo dito. Okay? So, yan yung itsura ng graph natin. Tuto na tayong mag-graph ng piecewise function. And kung gusto niyo pa class ng more exercise, so you can also try this. Ayan, I will pause the video. I will pause for a while so that you can pause the video and try graphing it para makapag-exercise pa kayo. Okay, so the answer here is last one. You can also try. So pause the video for a while. And then later, I will reveal the answer. Okay, so ayan. So that's the answer. So kung may natutunan kayo sa video na to, so just click the subscribe button tsaka yung notification bell natin for our upcoming lessons. Okay? Thank you.